If you're struggling to 3-star at Town Hall 16, these are the best attack strategies you need to use after the Druid's balance change. If you do enjoy the content that I make here, consider using my creator code and subscribing to the channel for more quality content. Now, starting at number 5 is the Root Rider spam. This version uses a hero dive instead. So what we're going to start with is the use of a siege barrack on one side. This can be used earlier because it will provide a lot of great funneling, while on the other side we can use barbarians and our heroes. This is a hero dive with our king and queen. The king has the earthquake boots and spiky ball, getting fantastic value while also opening up the wall by quite a bit. This also helps with our archer queen, where we pop her ability with the magic mirror and a rage spell in order to provide a lot of great value. This is able to set the funnel on 2 different sides, giving us enough pathing to work into the base with our Root Riders. With the funnel set on both sides, you're going to send in your Root Riders, Valkyries, and the Grand Warden with the Royal Champion and the Apprentice Warden. This is going to get you a lot of value from that Apprentice Warden, but also you're using this very similarly to a regular Root Rider spam. All you want to do is use an early Rage, followed by using an Overgrowth over the Town Hall, and allowing you to move deeper in with the Warden's Eternal Tome and Healing Tome. This is going to keep everything moving as you work yourself through. Having an early Grand Warden ability allows you to have a lot of power as you move deeper into the base with another rage spell and free spells to provide support, dealing with things like the monoliths and other defenses. In addition, you should also use another Overgrowth spell over the Town Hall. 2 Overgrowth spells are pretty safe, and you will be able to very easily and quickly move through those other defenses. Even having the Royal Champion with her haste and hog to absolutely provide even more support. This then really allows you to start cleaning up buildings and using your 2 free spells or any other spells left over to remove the Town Hall with the rest of your troops. Other than that, every other troop that you have left is cleanup, and you should easily be able to 3-star any base with this, as it really works well still. Now, in the number 4 spot, we have to include the Mass Twin Hogs, as it is incredibly powerful, and that's slightly bit easier than Root Riders. Pretty much you're going to do a pretty standard kill squad, where you're going to use 2 Yetis with the Log Launcher, a Super Wall Breaker to get in, along with an Ice Golem, Electro Titan, and your heroes to move in. You would have some of the wizards as well right behind to provide some support, but the entire goal of this is to be able to establish a funnel. Having the skeleton spell can actually slow down things like the ricochet cannons and other point defenses. In addition, we've also got an earthquake spell to open walls deeper into the base, and we can have our earthquake boots from the Barbarian King open even more and get even greater value. In addition, having the queen with her magic mirror and the healer puppets allows us to clear a ton of key defenses while also adding additional pressure and removing the enemy CC. This is by far a very simple way of getting into the base, removing high value, including the Town Hall and CC, before sending in our Super Hogs. With your heroes pushing in and getting great value, it's time to start your Super Hogs, with them moving in and the Grand Warden to boot. Along with this, you should have your Royal Champion jump in as well, and you do want to make sure that you are using an early Grand Warden ability to protect everything as you work in. You do want to make sure that you are keeping the life gem equipped, so that way the Super Hogs and regular Hog Raiders get more HP. As for your spells, rage spells are perfect to push them in, heal spells to provide additional support as you work deeper into the base. Having things like Headhunters, especially underneath the Eternal Tome, can help deal with enemy heroes, and of course having free spells to really help deal with splash damage defenses as you work around with the Hogs and the Super Hogs. Of course, having the Royal Champion with her haste and hog is absolutely going to help you clear through the rest of the defenses. Just make sure you have some form of cleanup, thanks to things like like the riders themselves and things like archers, and you should more often than not be able to 3-star with this really strong strategy. Now at number 3, we have the Fireball Rocket Loons, a pretty strong strategy if I do say so myself. Overall, we're going to start this off with the Warden Walk with the Angry Jelly. The reason this is so powerful is we're able to get deep into the base with very little time, making the jelly an arguably great asset to this strategy. While this is going on, we want to make sure that we're getting as deep into the base as we can without luring the enemy CC. So this way it allows us to use our invisibility spells once some of these defenses are gone in order to get the fireball deep into the base. Usually 3 to 4 of them is going to be more than enough, as it allows us to clear nearby defenses and use the fireball to get into the core with 1 or at least 2 to 3 earthquake spells. This then really leaves us to possibly remove the town hall. One option, especially if the town hall is close by the outside, you can use a Yeti blimp in order to remove the town hall safely with a rage spell and the Yetis to clear through that. You do want to make sure that you bring in some rocket loons because there could be Teslas around there and other defenses, but for the most part you should be able to get it. Now if the town hall is in the center of the base, a really neat trick is to use 3 earthquake spells with the fireball and the giant arrow. This can clear massive value and allows you to safely still remove the CC if it's close by and the town hall in the process without needing to hope that there are no seeking air mines for a battle blimp. Now with the town hall secured and everything else, you can start focusing in on your heroes with your king and queen moving in. You can have a couple rocket loons to clear other defenses nearby, but you want to have your barbarian king and archer queen start moving in. They don't necessarily need to get amazing value, as the barbarian king has his spiky ball and earthquake boots, which can already open up the base and get plenty of value, especially if you fireball the core, and also helping your queen enter the base. If you have the warden following them, it's completely fine, as you want to work in and get some type of value. Other than this, your heroes are going to do a majority of the work. Having the barbarian king tank maybe deal some damage, having the queen with her mirror and of course a rage spell equipped can really help. Even having the royal champion with her seeking shield and rocket spear can do plenty of work clearing through the final remaining defenses. Other than that, you've got rocket loons to help clear through any back end defenses, and otherwise you should have more than enough cleanup with things like minions, and you're gonna be able to overwhelm the base quite easily. Now of course at number 2 we have to include some type of dragon spam, as it's still incredibly powerful for casual players. Of course we're gonna start off with the giant arrow in order to snipe off 1 to 2 air defenses. The idea here is also to make sure that we're able to set a funnel with the healer puppets and the queen on one side. We can also use that giant arrow to our advantage by activating an invisibility spell tower within the core. This then allows us to use our barbarian king on the other side in order to clear another air defense before sending in our dragons. This is going to establish 2 sides of your funnel. Having the spiky ball equipped very much helps the king and the vamp stash, giving you more HP, and of course it just allows you to clear a nicer funnel for your dragons to very easily and swiftly move into the core. As you are sending in your dragons, you want to make sure that you are having the battle blimp delayed a little bit. This is going to allow you to use a rage spell to push your dragons in and the early Grand Warden ability to keep all of your dragons alive. As your blimp dives deeper in, you're going to use a rage spell followed by using 3 clone spells, separating them ever so slightly to still overlap but also remove the town hall quite easily and allow the balloons to move around, soaking up traps and of course dealing with other defenses. This allows the dragons in other early compartments to easily clear them and still work themselves around. One mistake that you should try to avoid is make sure that the defensive CC, especially if it's an ice golem, doesn't get lured out. But other than that, you'll also have your back end royal champion, and she can easily clear through a bunch of other defenses with her rocket spear, and you'll more than likely still get a fantastic value even if you don't have the rocket spear equipped. But overall, you can very easily 3-star with dragons with little to no effort. It's still an incredibly easy and simple strategy, which is still quite powerful. And of course, at number 1, we have to include Super Witches. They're still the best strategy for Town Hall 16. Even after the Druid nerf, you can still take a couple Druids. You're going to be starting off with the use of the Grand Warden. We're using 2 balloons here since there's a lot of DPS and we want to make sure that we're quickly getting through this. Having the healers there already is going to help our Warden underneath the Rage Gem. The goal here is to clear a couple defenses towards the outside. So while this might take a little bit of time, we're going to be able to set up a proper fireball to move in for the core and deal with the enemy CC. This way we can use invisibility spells on close by defenses, even the ones on the outskirts, in order to get the fireball directly to target the spell tower and clear all of the value. This really helps in terms of creating the funnel, where we can then cut off the other side of our funnel with the siege barrack and a couple giants. This allows us to prevent any type of targeting from things like the multi-archer tower or other defenses closer to the outside, and it also allows us to pretty much start working into the base with our Super Witches. With that said, you should lure the Warden over with either the Queen or the Super Witches and start moving into the base. Of course, you do want to make sure that you are getting your King in as well, as the Earthquake Boots are very impactful as well, but you do want to make sure that after that point, you can start using your Druids in order to push in. You should have a Rage spell in order to keep all of your troops alive as they work in, having the Barbarian King's Earthquake Boots to open up a large area while the Spiky Ball does some damage, and of course having just other spells like the freeze spells at the ready in order to provide support for your Super Witches as they work deeper in. You should also have backup healers with the Magic Mirror and the Healer Puppets, which is going to help your Queen do a lot of damage and provides more support. In addition, you should also have that Royal Champion coming in on the back end. Having that Rocket Spear is incredibly helpful, as any spells like freeze spells will definitely help her clear out other defenses while still moving all around the base. You just want to make sure that you have great pathing set up with your Super Witches, but more often than not, you're going to be able to easily overwhelm the rest of the base with all the big boys, your heroes, and of course, having that back end Royal Champion. Other than that, this is a very strong strategy I heavily recommend still using, even if it doesn't use Druids all too much. And while these strategies are great, you may want to check out this video here where I go over the best and worst hero equipment in my version 8 tier list.